I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
When ready to blame, start with yourself.
There you go. You read towards the punctuation.
The signposts to your life are just up ahead,
That's not what you're
but mostly
That's not what you're
behind you. This motherfucker do not put brakes on the lines.
Start. Oh, start.
So, moves. Think moves. Anyway, welcome back to the
Tool in the shed. The box. Tool in the shed. Hey, Philistine, they're aphorisms.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Cine-Scoots movie show.
Yeah.
We are not here to critique poetry or
Did you know-
aphorisms.
But did you know greed is a beast with claws and teeth, reckless for what isn't his?
But where's the period and where's the break in the lines, Thana?
You read towards the period.
Then show it in a sentence.
It's a visual art form.
Show it in a sentence. Anyway. We're here to talk about a new Hulu movie.
Real quick, did you know poetry preceded written prose?
Excuse me, what?
Poetry,
Uh-huh.
writing stuff in verse,
Yeah.
came before writing stuff in normal talk.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah,
Now everybody's
good to
a
know.
little smarter.
It didn't always rhyme.
No?
Which?
But my favorite kind of poetry is the one that rhymes because it's funny.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Fair enough. We're talking about a Hulu movie.
We're talking about a Hulu movie.
Yeah.
It's called No One Will Save You.
Yes.
Made by Brian Duffield.
And my girl, Katie Denver.
So where do you know her from?
I know her from Booksmart.
Oh yeah, she's in that one.
Yes.
She's in a show called Unbelievable about a girl who is assaulted
Oh.
and the police do not believe her.
Oh.
And then our good girl, Toni Collette, comes in to save the day.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff. She was also in Ticket to Paradise last year. She
Okay.
plays the daughter of George Clooney and Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
So I like her. I think she's a talented young lady.
I think so as well.
I am perfectly fine if we get like way more of her. She seems to be starting to get more work,
Yeah.
and that makes me pretty happy. Right now she's starting in this movie as our main girl. What is her fucking name? Bryn.
Bryn.
What a white girl name, dude.
That's a very white
It's
girl
a
name.
very white girl name.
There's a lot of white things in this movie.
There's a lot of white things in this movie.
Yeah.
Making model towns.
Yeah.
Dancing with the little steps are on the floor.
It's a very white house.
And very white house.
And when it was early, I was like, damn, this girl's that young and she got this whole ass house to herself.
What is she doing?
Yeah.
Is she an influencer? So this movie, what really drew my attention to it is that it's an alien invasion movie, right?
Yes.
So it's a movie about a girl who is living by herself. She does not really leave home. And then late at night, some spooky shit starts to happen. She starts hearing footsteps, and then aliens, right? And the trailer kind of makes you believe that like that's what the entire movie is going to be about.
Right.
One alien into her house, and she's going to defend it, right?
Yeah.
But the movie very quickly, leaves that, not necessarily leaves that concept, but like moves from there.
So spoilers.
Yeah.
I love how the first alien dies.
Yes, and it is a nice parallel to the
major
revelation,
events. Yes,
to the revelation later in the movie, right? Yeah. So one of the things, so this movie's available easily on Hulu.
Yeah,
I would say let's just get quick thoughts out of the way, then we can start talking about like the meats and potatoes.
4 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I watched it with my fiance. Also thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
You watch it with Ro?
Yeah.
Very good. I like alien movies.
Yeah.
I do find it funny that a lot of the times people want to like reimagine what the alien looks like.
Yeah.
And this movie's like, nah, dude.
No.
Fuck that.
Yep.
These are like the gray, big-eyed, lanky aliens.
They play with that design.
They do.
Dope.
I like that they take that concept and they tweak it, but it's not like a super different, like, this is a new type of alien that you've never seen.
Yeah.
Right? They do add new things to it. I do think that's really good.
Spindlies. The spindly, the spider thingy.
Yes.
Little boy alien.
Yep. Little monkey alien.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very cool concept. I do think acting wise, It's very well done.
Yeah.
If you have not seen it, be ready to hear a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Right? This movie does not have, save for two
lines.
no
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yep.
Right? And I think that's very good. Everything that you are told is through being shown shit.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes it's a little bit more on the nose. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
like you kind of have to interpret shit.
There were points where I was like, okay, in this situation, like
You would say something.
you'd be like, fuck, right? Like I don't know when you're alone, like when I'm alone, like I will just sometimes like talk to myself or like scream inside the house.
I don't.
Oh,
I've had this discussion
Yeah.
with multiple people because and Arthur, we've talked in the past, and they've said, I talk to myself a lot. I feel like I have a voice that I can talk to in my head, and I go, I do not.
You don't have the voice in your head?
Mm-mm.
Oh, interesting.
I can sometimes think things through.
Yeah.
And like I know, like I can plan what I'm going to say, but I don't actually hear it.
I didn't know you didn't have the voice in your head. There was just a post on Reddit. This I didn't watch it, but it was like, this is what it's like to not have the voice inside your head. I was like interviewing people who are like you. I guess you're a freak.
I don't understand what I'm missing because I just haven't dealt with that necessarily.
And someone who's normal wouldn't understand what it's like to be you.
Maybe that's why I read these things and I go,
you read your verse like a potato.
In responsibility, they make up for in blaming others.
Well, isn't it true?
I'm not saying they're not true.
It's true.
I'm just saying, why the fuck is there a break in between the reader? It's always the hero of the story. Okay. Motherfucker, you can be like the hero, the reader. It's always the hero of the story.
I'll find you an article.
Anyway. But this, so the movie just relies a lot on Caitlin Bieber's like just physical like movements, her face. She has to sell all her emotions through just her body. Yep. Right. And I'm not saying that as in like she's hot. I'm saying she just needs to act this shit out and relay all this information just purely visually, right? And that is not an easy thing to do.
No. And I don't think she does it perfectly, but I think she does it very well.
She does it well. Yeah. There are Katie, when we were watching the movie, Katie goes, what do you think of her? And I go, oh, I think she's a good actress. I think she's cute. Yeah. I like her. And she goes, sometimes I feel like she can be a little one note. And I go, I can see that. But I do think that for this movie, it's good.
Yes. This was my first time seeing her since Booksmart. And like, it was cool to have that image in my head and this image. I'm like, okay, so I don't know if I would call her one note, but I'll say I've seen her do two very, very different things.
So I think Katie's perspective of her is a little muddied because in that show, Unbelievable, she is someone who is just broken. Yeah. Like going through that experience that she went through, she has to be someone who is kind of hopeless, who is just very like down on herself, right? Very quiet, very reserved. And I think that kind of then stuck with her a lot because you watch that shit for like 10 episodes, it's gonna be what you're associating with, right? Whereas here, like, she is like acting scared. She has to show like her oh shit face when she sees someone that she doesn't want to see. But I think overall the movie does a pretty good job at showing like what an alien invasion could potentially look like, and especially with keeping a lot of the old like alien archetypes.
Here is so just as we talked about how this movie doesn't add a lot to alien imagery. I do like what this movie has added to the home invasion genre.
Go on.
Because when you're watching a Scream or a Michael Myers, right? Like the sandbox of what can happen in the home is by and large relegated to like what human beings can do within the realm of physics, right? For the most part. Here, the alien didn't fucking use telepathy. Just like, moves, which I think just like takes that genre and makes it so much more fresh and interesting because it's like, okay, I don't know as much how this is going to go because like this alien could fucking beam her up through the window.
You're no longer you're no longer restrained by like your normal laws of physics, right? I it was really cool, right? So like alien lore,
Yeah.
like alien lore, right?
Right.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
There are things that people are like, yeah, they can like move you up, so they have some sort of like anti gravity
Right.
thing, right? They might be able to move things with their mind. So
Yeah.
like those are things that like you watch enough crackpot shit on like
Yeah.
History Channel, you hear about, right? But actually seeing it like on TV in a
Yeah.
movie is kind of cool, and it does add additional tension, right? There's those scenes where there and you are shown that early on. She's defending her house. She's got to take
Mhm.
a pan in her hand,
Yep.
and a big beam, like of red light, shoots through the hallway, and her pan just goes flying into the
Yep.
fucking wall. And so, like that right there tells you, like, oh, you do not want to be in this beam,
Yeah.
right? And so then when later it happens that she gets caught in it. By the way, we're in spoilers now.
Yep.
It's really kind of like startling to just see her just fucking freeze.
Yeah.
I really do think, even if you end up watching this movie and you do not like the ending, because the ending is very polarizing depending on who
Mm.
you talk to. Um, if you were to just take the first 15, 20 minutes, her in her house going to bed,
Mhm.
and then shit happens, and then you end with her like running out of her house to go look for help.
Mhm.
I think that is a perfect like 15-minute short.
Yeah.
Everything else after that for me was like additional extra stuff.
Right.
Right. I do like the idea that she is this like hermit
Yeah.
who just like, and the whole time you're kind of figuring out like what happened.
You get
You
pretty early on
get
that people don't like her.
you get some inklings. It took
Yeah.
me a second to understand what exactly was going on. Like, like maybe
Yes.
she's just weird and people just don't want to talk to her. But it's not until like the invasion happens that she goes to town, she goes to the police department.
She pauses in front of the door. You can connect that you see the name of the chief, you know it's her friend's name,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And she
And
gets
then
spit
she
on.
gets spit on.
Yeah.
Um, and you go, oh, okay. So they really don't like her.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like she's just weird and people are like, the weird kid, right?
Yeah.
Something happened here.
I think the question for me at that point, I think I texted you. I was like, "Did she kill her mom?" And
Hmm.
then when I saw the spit, I was like, "Okay, well, she definitely probably killed whatever her name is,
Maud.
Maud." There was a child named fucking Maud. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Um,
But I think the question for me that I had, I was like, okay, is she a piece of shit? Like, did did she actually do it maliciously and got away with it, and she's just like living in this like fancy ass house and reaping her rewards,
mhm.
or like was it an accident, which we find out.
I think
Yeah.
early on you're kind of led to believe that whatever did happen was definitely not malicious because she is clearly uncomfortable going out.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like if they wanted to play her off as like a little bit more ambiguous, like, ooh, did she do something bad on purpose or not? They would have had her maybe act a little bit more like oblivious to what's going on in the outside world.
Well, I didn't see this movie. I don't know when it reveals it to you, but like the movie where
Reveals.
the movie where the rich people are hunting the Republicans.
Oh, the hunt.
Yes. So I don't know. Did you see it?
Mhm.
When do you find out that they're Republicans?
Very early on.
Okay. Maybe there's another movie where like you have a protagonist and you're like, oh, like this protagonist, people don't like them for whatever reason, and then maybe later on you learn like, oh, they were kind of a piece of shit. I'm trying to remember if I like can think of a specific movie I've seen like that, but I was wondering if it was going to go in that direction. I was like, oh, I wonder if like maybe she secretly sucks, and that's why people hate her.
I see.
Yeah, but she didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like I think some people are kind of going in at this like very black and white.
yeah,
There's a lot of movies right now that you cannot just take their like the characters at face value.
hmm,
So a big movie that just came out was earlier this year. It's called La Huesera, which is a Mexican movie about a woman who gets pregnant.
yeah,
Weird shit starts to happen. She does not want to be a mom.
mm,
She is only basically being a mom because she's been kind of, culturally, that's what you do
yeah,
as a Mexican woman. Um, there's some like hints that she might be lesbian or at the very least bi.
yeah,
She had left her girlfriend, and so like a lot of people watch that movie and they go, "Yeah, dude, she fucking sucks. I don't
mm,
feel bad for anything that happened to her.
yeah,
She's a bad mom." And the whole time you're like, "But if you don't want to be a mom and they're
Was
making
it
you do
forced on
this
you? Yeah.
and fucking pregnancy sucks,
Yeah.
like that's where the sympathy comes in, right?
Right.
You are looking at this character from a very different lens than what the creator wants you to look
Yeah.
at, right? And in this movie, I think they do a pretty solid job at showing you that she was put into a predicament.
Yeah.
What exactly it is, I don't know. Because very early on in the movie, you see like a little crop circle
Yeah.
in their lawn. And so when I saw that, I was like, is that supposed to be like just dead grass?
Right.
Or is that supposed to be that like something happened? I thought that the girl disappeared one day
Mm.
and they thought that she had
She had something to do with
something
it.
to do with it.
Yeah.
But then, well, you're watching an alien movie
Yeah.
and then you see those little circles there. Like, oh, she got beamed up.
Aliens.
Right? But then you later find out that
She caned enabled.
she caned enabled it. That's a good metaphor
Yeah.
or a good way to phrase that, right? And I don't know if I would necessarily like think that's the best way to show that idea. You could do it in more of an accidental way to kind of, if you really wanted to say she is a sympathetic character,
Yeah.
no black and white here, you could have shown that in some other way, right?
So,
do I think you need to? No.
So I'm looking up right now because I'm trying to see. We can keep talking about stuff while I look it up. I'm trying to see if the Bible actually says he like took a rock and killed him. But for whatever reason, my brain jumped to Cain kill Abel, and maybe it's just because.
Or the rock?
And maybe it's just because I had just seen Darren Aronofsky's
Mother?
Noah.
Oh.
Um.
I think that's what it is because that's what I've always heard.
Well, but people just like, but it's supposed to be like Adam and Eve's kids. Like, what the fuck did they have to kill each other back then? A rock. I don't know if the Bible actually says he killed him with a rock. But as I like briefly look this up, the my brain definitely jumped to Cain killed Abel with that imagery of her taking the rock and accidentally like, well, she did mean to hit her with it.
She did.
She didn't mean to kill her.
It was because you do see they're having an argument. You don't really hear what the argument is because again, the movie does not have dialogue.
Yeah.
The only words that you hear are "I'm sorry, Maud," I believe.
Yes.
And it's repeated twice, so there you go. There's your 2 lines of dialogue.
Yeah.
Right, but you don't hear what they're arguing about. So you're not super privy to like what is this a justified thing or not?
Yes, doesn't. So now Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him. So there's no rock in the Bible, but like lots of people just interpret they took a rock and.
There's so many ways. Sans rock that you can kill someone.
There are.
You can walk between them. You can choke them out.
But the literal interpretation would be like there was like fucking 4 people back then. So
I guess.
Yeah.
But I know. So I do see that, right?
Yeah.
What could you have done if you really wanted to make the character fully sympathetic
Right.
and not have any ambiguity? Show a different type of conflict. Maybe show an accidental death, which she blames herself for. I can see that, right? But that's not what they want to do. Like,
No.
if this director says this is what I want to do,
Yeah.
he stuck to his guns. You know, good for him.
Yeah.
I think the movie still works. It gives you something to think about as far as like your main character.
Yeah.
They are not perfect. You are not 100% sure if you can fully root for them at the end. But from what you're shown, probably.
I don't think it's so much a question of. I mean, here, like, obviously, you're gonna root for them over the aliens, in the sense that, like, she didn't bring this upon herself, right? And also, everybody in town is getting fucking aliened.
Yeah. By the way.
Yeah.
So this weekend I saw this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie I saw like earlier last week. But then this movie I saw that movie called When Evil Lurks, and the way they handle the respective genre, I think is interesting, right? So this movie is very like it's still aliens,
right?
But it's also like aliens again. You know, talking about this meets this. It's aliens meets like body snatchers, right? Whereas the other movie is like Exorcist meets like zombies,
right?
right? Because the way that they show the the interaction with things is like very viral,
Yeah.
right? And here, like I liked seeing the townspeople still just acting normal
Yeah.
until
Until
they go after you.
yeah.
That scene on the bus
Yeah, it was
is
freaky.
it's pretty fucking like
And kind of
it's tense because
out of
you see
nowhere.
someone in the back
Yeah.
and you see the post guy and
Right.
you earlier in the scene before that you see his shit is like flipped over
Fucking like
and you see him
messing with
sitting there
Amazon packages.
and you're like it's and you're kind of like why is this
Why is he acting so
postman
weird? Yeah.
riding the bus out of town, right?
Yeah.
And so I think visually like all these things just kind of fit together very well.
Yeah.
The way they're like growl, they have like their throat looks all fucky.
Right.
So visually, it's again, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
The guy's name is Zach,
The Postman
the
actor.
postman, and he's got like I don't know. I think the way that like they like walk and twist and turn
Yes.
is very feral compared to like how they behave normally, right? Because they're
Yeah.
just like people,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Like in the house, they just kind of strut
yeah,
when they're in their alien body.
yeah.
Yeah.
The little monkey alien
Cool.
is fun.
I took that as a child alien.
Well, like
Oh shit, she like killed
she
a
don't
kid,
kill.
and then they're gonna be mad. So it was like, so back to your question about like, can you root for her? Like maybe not, but like you did. But to me, it's not even. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. To me, it's not even so much a question of like rooting for her in spite of like, in spite of her killing her friend. It's more like a question of I'm like rooting for her because like that friend shit had nothing to do with this, like nothing to do with this alien thing, like whatsoever. And I was like rooting for her to make it through the night, right?
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, when first of all, I think it's funny that like these aliens all have very fragile heads because I think like everyone she kills is with like some like head trauma.
head trauma.
Yeah,
I think the only one who does not get killed through head trauma
he
is
was on fire.
the one that gets blown up in the car.
Yeah,
Um, but so like I do think that it's weird, right? So like the movie does a so has the point to make
right.
that clearly what happened was accidental, right?
Yes.
She gets shoved, and in a response, she grabs a rock, flings her arm. And you
Which
don't know if she means to actually hit the friend or if she's just using the rock to like keep the friend away, and the friend got too close and conked to the head.
which have you ever wrestled with your friends?
Yeah,
Okay, like it's very easily like do some bad damage
yeah,
with like childish horseplay.
and I think there's a reason why she's not in jail,
Yeah.
right? Whatever ended up happening, she was not found guilty,
Yeah.
right? So it's clear that you know maybe the people who know what happened might be resentful.
Right.
Um, but then, as the viewer who watching this, you don't know all the full details.
Mhm.
Based on what I see, she's not in jail. She is very remorseful of what happened. It's not like she's going, haha, mod,
Right.
sucks to suck,
Just write her letters.
right? She's writing her letter, she's writing her journal about all these things. And when she's having these visions
Hmm.
and her like weird, like, dreamscapes,
Right.
she's dreaming about her friend. So
Yes.
there's clearly a thing here
There's definitely remorse.
where she feels like that guilt,
Yes.
right? She feels like she doesn't deserve to leave this town and be rid of this pain.
Right.
She stays. Which one of the things that I was thinking, I was like, well, even if everybody here watches you and treats you like a fucking leper, then leave.
Right.
But it's clear that she doesn't believe that she deserves to be rid of this guilt,
Correct.
right? And that's what this whole movie is. It's her kind of getting to that
To that point.
right? I do think it's interesting that the aliens like also are very interested in this,
Yeah.
right? And I think as far as like aliens go, that is how a lot of times they're portrayed. They're like these beings that are, yeah, they might do some shit, but they're for like first and foremost like there to like explore and figure out what's going on.
Well, it's interesting. So I took it as they were either preparing her for body snatching, or they're just in general, like, taking people to probe and study, right? As aliens are wont to do. And,
Yeah.
and then they happened to come across like this specific knowledge, and they're like, oh fuck, like
Yeah.
this one's been through the ringer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's such a weird concept because I'm not sure exactly what and
Yeah.
the aliens have full-blown conversations.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's an interview with the director who said something along the lines of we do know basically what they're saying to each other. We do not have
Subtitles.
word for
Yeah.
word like what they are saying, but we have these general ideas of what they are saying to each other, what they're trying
Yeah.
to communicate with each other. The aliens are very chatty in
Mm.
this movie. Like
Hmm.
they don't talk like normal people do,
Right.
but they do have noises, clickings, and like growls
Yeah.
towards each other, and they recognize that. Um, and it always seems very kind of like questioning, like, what do we do with this? At the
Yeah.
end, they have her like on the table basically, and they're watching her,
Yeah.
and they just look at each other like, what the fuck do we do?
Yeah.
Do we just like shove this thing in her mouth and just call it a day, or do we just let her just
Yeah.
chill with us? And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's supposed to be left to interpretation. I fully believe
I think she's still herself.
she's just herself, and
I think
she's just
she.
like, ah, you know what?
I think the ending would make no sense if it was herself. If it wasn't herself,
Yeah,
excuse me. If she was body snatched, I don't think the ending would make
I
sense.
feel like it loses the effect,
Right.
right? Um, some people are complaining that like the aliens are shown too much. I think they're
No.
fine.
Wasn't the point of this
Sometimes,
movie? That was the point. It wasn't supposed to be like the horror was what was happening through the house and like the how she was going to Macaulay Culkin her way out of it. Like it wasn't supposed to be, the xenomorph. Like
mhm.
I am perfectly fine with how much the aliens were. Also, they're because they're such basic ass aliens. Like, okay, you show one in the shadow, and you're like, oh wow, it's fucking Roswell, right?
And I don't think the aliens look CG wise, right? They don't look bad.
No,
I
that's
think
fine.
they look perfectly fine. They look
Yeah,
passable. The movie's not a huge budget movie, so I'm not expecting these things to look hyper realistic.
right.
But they're also fucking aliens,
Yeah.
right? So what are you gonna do? We mentioned this before. We see different types of them.
Hmm.
We have
Spider
your
one,
basic ass like
Roswell.
regular Roswell
Yeah,
alien.
you got Spider
Their
Roswell.
weird fucking toes that
Yeah.
look like thingies.
Oh, that was so cool.
That was so weird,
Yeah,
dude.
it
And
was
like
weird, but it was cool.
because and you kind of do get a hint that there's something going on with where they walk. At first, I thought they were maybe like gliding
Yeah.
because they walk very smoothly across surfaces.
Right.
It's
Well, then you
not
just
until
figure
you
out
see
it's
them.
thumbs.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not until you see them like she's hiding under the bed.
Yeah.
You see one with the little toes walking around.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah. So weird, but cool.
Very cool. We talked about the little monkey baby one.
Yep.
All of them have a thing down their throat,
Yeah.
which I don't know if it's supposed to be implying that like the aliens themselves are just like
Assholes.
hosts to
Yeah.
whatever else this is, and they were also then taken
By the thing.
by the things, or if this is just how the aliens
Do their thing.
maybe like take over things.
Yeah.
Right? And for a second I was like, is this weird baby alien thing the thing that crawled out of this thing's mouth?
Yeah.
First,
Yeah.
because she gets chased by this thing. She stabs it with a broom or a mop.
Yeah. It's kind of brutal. If you think.
She fucking like slams. She like Vincent D'Onofrio and Daredevil's the guy's head.
I so choose to think that that's an alien child because, like, if it is, that just makes that scene so much more brutal. Like, like if like it's this helpless girl like fucking grooming a kid alien, like that's crazy.
And the way this movie builds tension, I think, is really good. That
Yeah.
scene before she gets chased into the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
the thing is just standing there watching her.
Yep.
Like fucking do something.
Yeah.
And she's like slowly like walking back. She eventually turns around and just hauls it to the bathroom. You see this thing like jumping on the walls.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if it is like a kid alien, this thing is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And then I love the Slender Man alien one.
Yep.
Very tall,
Yep.
like creepy ass, like spider legs crawling on the roof of
Yeah.
the house. Visually, that is really cool.
Very cool. Very cool, Kanye.
I'm interested in going back and checking out this guy's previous movie. I know the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie called Spontaneous about like kids in a high school who just explode.
Cool.
And people are like, "What the fuck is
why are these kids
happening? Why are
exploding?"
these kids exploding?
Yeah.
Like it's just spontaneously combusting."
It's math class. Fuck.
Yes. So I'm really interested. Like if this is what he does with the alien
Yeah.
idea, like I want to go back and see
And see.
what that was about. I've heard that it's decent. It's
Yeah.
I heard it's not as good
Is this?
as this, but I'm still curious to be like, okay, what was the step before this?
Yeah.
Because I think this movie handles like all these themes. Like grief is a weird thing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, she is totally at fault for what happened here. She didn't mean to.
Right.
It doesn't take away the fact that you still involuntarily manslaughtered your friend,
Right.
right? And I don't know, I just think it's very telling the fact that she chooses not to leave the town
Yeah.
and just stay there. That's such an easy thing that you can be like, yeah, just fucking leave, dude.
Pack up and get out.
Back up, get your shit, sell your house, fuck off.
I mean, it does feel like her house does feel like a little idyllic paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is where, while I liked the ending so much, okay, get ready for something cringe. My cringe moment of the day,
Whoa.
right?
As cringe as these.
He's pointing to the aphorisms.
I'm
Shame,
joking, my friend.
She's alienated.
She is alienated.
Until she gets into contact with the aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, is right. But
Yeah.
I think it just makes the alienation hurt so much more because, like, you look at like her in the house and like the yard and like all the trinkets, and you're like, oh, like this woman is like, she's cultivated a beautiful place, right? And it sucks that she can't like share that with anybody because nobody wants like to give her the time of day.
It's also really sad. Like if you look at the little model town that she's making, it's a model of the town that she lives in.
Yeah.
It's her like being so set on not going out to her town that she has to recreate it in her
Right.
house.
And she wants that connection. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where this movie's use of the zero dialogue goes beyond just a gimmick because like that normal human speech isn't enough to drill these gaps or bridge these gaps. Something, not just something like otherworldly has to happen for her to find connection, but like something otherworldly and something that like, I don't want to use the word penetrate because it sounds so cringe, but like something has to like enter into her mind, and it's only through like that telepathic communication, like beyond human speech, where like she's able to find like community. And you know what? Once the aliens take over, right? That scene is just as beautiful as like the idyllic little hamlet that she like made for herself, right?
And and it does, go to show that is it's very important that they show that when the humans are the ones who are supposed to be there for you, right? They are your kind.
Yes.
Right? They shun her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did something not good, right?
Yeah.
But they were also like 12.
They were 12, and also it's the whole fucking town who hates her. Like, there's the cute guy at the beginning who, like, she looks at, and he's like, ew.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn. Like,
and that's why at first I was like, is he just like, are they just like mean to her, or is something else going on here?
Yeah.
And it's not until like a little bit after that you go, okay, something's wrong here,
Yeah.
right? But it also like it's important that at the end of the movie, like it's the aliens, these people who are
foreign,
they're invading, they're literally snatching people's bodies and controlling them, but they're welcoming, they have a community.
And it's cool that I think that they choose to live as the human bodies.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know why I find that cool, but I think it is cool at the end that not only does she get the community, but it's not even with like the Roswell looking thing.
It's a good point, right? Yeah. You don't see any alien bodies there, right? You just see the humans who are being controlled. And who knows? Maybe it's just the way that they show up to a society or a civilization and go, these people are just always fucking at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Let's just give them these things and make them all be nice to each other.
But I don't think there's any like because before when I saw that they were snatching some bodies, I was like, is there some War of the World shit where they like need to like because they look kind of frail and they are like if you pop them in the head pretty good, look they die. Like, I guess they're telepathic, but like they're not super OP. So at
Mhm.
first I was wondering, I was like, okay, like do they have like some allergic thing to Earth where they need like other bodies to survive? But the
Mhm.
movie never confirms that. So yeah, it is interesting that they just choose to take the bodies.
Mhm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I
If you had thumbs on your feet, could you ever go back to not having thumbs on your feet?
I hate feet, so I'm perfectly fine not even picturing my feet with toes, or my feet with thumbs.
Yeah.
There is something that I wanted to like kind of touch on a little bit
Mm.
before we finish up. There is this thing where like they make a doppelganger of her,
Yeah.
and is that supposed to be like is when she kills
She
this
kills it.
thing?
Right.
Is that supposed to be her like symbolically killing her guilt?
Partially. I
And
mean, part of what symbols are, symbols do mean more than one thing. So I think
mhm.
partially it's her killing her guilt. I'm trying to think about what else it could be. But like, I think it also, like, it hurts her to kill. It hurts her to kill her doppelganger.
It does. She's again very
Yeah.
remorseful about this. Um, it mirrors like her holding Maud
Right.
after she killed her too. Um,
But I read it as also, in addition to guilt, also just a sign that she's like in this rut and she can't even escape. Like, she can't even escape being known as a killer, right?
mhm.
'Cause, I mean, she's got some good kills in this movie, but like that's kind of what she's known for. Like she can't escape being known as like someone who kills. And I think to then even have to do it with a version of yourself, you're like, oh fuck, like I really can't escape being a murderer. Like,
And you know it's not until you see the revelation of how the whole thing with Maud happened that like it doesn't hit you with the
yeah,
first alien kill,
yeah,
which is the exact same motion. She just happens to be holding the top of the bell tower,
yeah,
and the alien fucking flips her. And she's not. She's just holding still because this thing has her like telepathically like
yeah.
on hold, right?
Yeah.
And she just fucking whacks him inside of the head.
Doesn't it walk into it? I can't remember or no.
So like the alien grabs her.
Yeah,
She's just like holding her hand like this,
yeah,
and he flips her around so he faces her.
right. And
And
she's
she's
like,
like, "Shing,"
yeah,
punches him in the head with it, and just kills it on accident too.
yeah,
So she's like, "Fuck!" Like this is twice that I've accidentally killed something
right.
by just moving my
Moving
arm
her
this
hand.
way.
Yeah,
I don't know. She impales two of them.
yeah,
Yeah, she impales the little one. She impales the main one. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't remember at first if she accidentally killed the other because the other one stabs her.
right,
Right, the doppelganger stabs her. She then
right.
uses the box cutter, like slices her neck,
Yeah,
kills it. And I think it's also telling that when she gets this thing put in her mouth
yeah,
and she starts to like be in her normal house. And then she sees her friend
yeah,
and she refuses to just accept this like bliss of you are here, your friend's alive.
right,
He's like, let's go have fun.
right.
She's like, no, I did something bad. I do not, this is not real. I do not deserve this. And she takes this thing out.
I just realized something.
Yes.
She narcs like many aliens,
Yeah,
and the aliens are still the ones who like quote unquote forgive her.
they do.
Yeah,
And I think it's because in a way, I think they must realize that, like, she's not doing this, like, maliciously. She's
yeah.
legitimately trying to defend herself.
But they do have more empathy than the town. Then
They do have more empathy than
yeah,
that. And they forgive her. They kind of just say, she's going through this process.
yeah,
She's finally free of whatever this is. Let's just let her
yeah,
live out the rest of her life.
yeah.
It's an interesting movie. I do think this is not as it's more complex than people might initially think.
Oh, for sure. It was more complex than I thought it was going to be.
I was very happy with this. I'm I'm not sure if I would say that this movie necessarily should have been in theaters, but I think if I had seen this in theaters, it would have been it would have been a lot more fun.
This is a couple movies now by Hulu where you're like, this could have been on the big screen.
It should have.
Yeah.
They need to bring back like at least like the limited
Limited runs.
Cause like
Well, and now, like we were talking in the commercial breaks,
commercial break.
in the break between recordings, like I can buy my Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 right now on YouTube. Right? That shit was in theaters for what? Like a month?
Yeah.
Tops?
Tops.
Right? Like I feel like now there's no excuse other than just like theater space, like to not at least give some of these movies made for streaming. Throw it a bone. Like put it in the big screen for a little bit.
And we've talked about this with like for some reason people are like looking so hard to
Yeah.
like make money
Yep.
that like they're trying to fluff
Yeah.
their streaming services. But one of the biggest ways to make money too is just like fucking put shit in theaters.
Appropriate they were talking about it for this movie because like we want this to be in a place that we have to drive through to see other people, right? To buy our expensive ass popcorn, to sit in a big room with like other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. People want community.
People with community.
Yeah.
And you know who will give us a community?
Our fans.
Our fans and
our millions of fans. And our AI alien overlords.
Our AI alien overlords.
Bring the robots. Bring the robots.
The aliens.
Yep.
You know, I'm tired of living in exciting times because the exciting times that we have are not.
They're sad, exciting times. Yeah, the robots will fix everything.
The robots will fix everything. Well, I'm just glad that this movie came out good.
Yes.
I was very excited for it when I saw the trailer for it. I think I told you like, hey, there's a new Alien movie coming out. We should watch it. And you're like, oh, cool. So I'm looking forward to a lot of these things. Hopefully, more spooky stuff coming soon.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for listening again. We are consistently having the listens.
Yeah.
When I check the Spotify, we consistently have the same people listening, which is good.
I have to do an angry shout out to my friend Monica, who texted me and said, "I listened to your Cine-Scoots. I would recommend that you start watching more esoteric and avant-garde things for the commentary."
Avant-garde.
And I will say, Monica, I don't actually know what avant-garde means. But I told her this is a comfort podcast.
Avant-garde. Let's go ahead and see what avant-garde means according to
the nerve.
New and unusual experimental ideas, especially in the arts or the people introducing them.
I knew something like that. That's
what I remembered from avant-garde. I don't know if that's what they meant, but there is an avant-garde movie that I fucking hate called Skinamarink.
Skinamarink.
It came out earlier this year. I fucking hate that movie. It's my least favorite movie of the year.
Yeah. The most avant-garde movie I think we watched is the one I hate the most. Crimes Against the Future.
Crimes Against the Future?
Crimes against
humanity?
Crimes against the
Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future, yeah.
Yeah, David Cronenberg's movie.
Crimes Against Me.
Crimes Against my fucking stomach.
Yeah.
You know, we watched that and we watched Morbius, and I had more fun with Morbius.
You know that we watched that and waited 35 minutes in line for some fucking pierogies from a food truck. I
forgot about that.
And waiting in line was not the worst thing that I did that.
You remember the pierogies? It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, if your friend Monica has any suggestions on what avant-garde movies they would like us to cover,
we would love to hear them.
Thank you all for listening. We will be back. Honestly, I have no idea what the fuck we're gonna watch next.
We might hang out on Saturday night, but
we'll see.
We'll see. But
right,
we're gonna go watch some Mike Flanagan shit right now.
We gotta review House of Usher. That's our next one, right? We're gonna try to watch it and do a.
Oh yes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
I don't know how far I'll get.
I don't know how far I'll go.
I'm hoping to make. Dude, I've been playing so much fucking Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
I've put in like 20 hours in the past week.
Good for you.
Dude.
Good for you.
It's bonkers. All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Remember to like and share, like Thano has shared with his friend.
Yes.
We always look forward for more listeners. But until next time, he has been Thano.
He has been Javier.
And this has been the Cine-Scoots podcast.
Bye.
God damn it, movie show.